Okay, we are live. Cool. So, if you're watching this after the stream, or if you're watching this right now, great. Um, I do want to talk about this, and it's been happening, or talked about this for a while, and then I do want to actually talk about this kind of event incident regarding to TwitchCon, and I don't go to TwitchCon, and I don't never knew that until like maybe last year ish, and it's basically a convention for Twitch uh, content creator or fans who wants to meet their content creator who wants to give it support or whatever. So it's kind of like convention like Comic Con or anime convention. But yeah, so basically they had that for a couple years now. I think 10 years, I guess. So basically, there's one incident happened this year, which is a couple days ago. I think it's 2 days ago. I think there is one content creator which I seen it time to time, called Emiru. Basically happened to have a like a meet and greet, like basically talk to her fans, quickly talk to their fans one by one, take a picture or sign whatever, right? And then there happened to be a some random dude just came across from the side, and basically, long story short, like assault, in terms of like touching without permission or consent. It just comes out of nowhere and just came up to her, like trying to hug her, kiss her, blah blah blah, without any warning. So obviously that freaks everyone out, like whoa, what's going on, and obviously to her as well. And as well as like there was no or little to no security for this matter. It was just her security who she hired, and apparently it wasn't her first security guard. She had it a long time ago. She got, I guess, apparently this person was let go because of what happened from the previous convention. Not sure exactly, but basically of how he handled it, which was actually did his job. But anyway, apparently there was no security protocol for this kind of incident, and there was no any representative or anyone from Twitch came up to her to check up on her because she is one of the top streamers and she has a level of privilege for making sure that she has, a protocol during this convention. So basically, long story short, there was no successful protocols in convention itself for this kind of incidents as far as how things were handled, because apparently the person who assaulted her, was let go and just let him walk off, and everyone around her obviously got confused. So I thought it was really insane about that, and how concerning for not just her but also for like other people around, because it's a possibility that this person could has a weapon or have some deadly weapon or anything that could possibly harm other people, which could be right. But like I said, there was no security protocol, which is um, not monitored, not overseen by Twitch itself. Um, as far as what I saw in the video, which I'm probably not gonna really watch the video. I already saw it myself, but I'm just gonna leave it there and just look it up yourself. But basically, what happened was, this is what according to what I saw, like the videos and some people talking about it, and everyone was talking about it. So basically, like her manager was there, her this one um, uh, security guard, which is kind of weird, and apparently she paid handsomely a lot of money for this one security and has done nothing but just pushed him off, really. And that's about it. There's no chasing him or detain him for question or anything like that. And apparently they don't believe in security, I guess, for Twitch. I don't know. Um, so it is concerning for that matter. And I think it's very, very concerning for just having hosting a convention in general. It is very concerning for people around, influencer, content creators, just public in general. because you never know what could happen. You never know who will approach you. You never know how they will handle, how to do things around you, which we don't know. So that's where protocols needed, and apparently people don't know it. And I think it's very sad that that happened to her. And you know, I wouldn't say relatable, but it's something that, let's say anime convention, like Anime Expo. I used to go there like twice, three times, including the same year but different days. And I heard few things about it where some guys or female, whoever, uh, taking pictures, or without permission, or maybe do some, um, you know, not consented touching or something like that. Some those actions were made. It's some inappropriate actions that's not made. Like, if you want a picture, you should ask, right? And then, if you want to like do a two-shot picture or something like that, then yes. But something else is just, I think this case is just not appropriate, to be honest, like for this case. And as far as I wouldn't say experience, but I had a similar experience, like not hosting, but at least helping getting things done for the event, to making sure that we are doing this ABCs, and then who's doing what, and where am I going? Am I doing this? Am I doing this? Or who else is going to do that? So it's a lot of work. It involves a lot of people, and involves, you know, other people outside, like even public in general, because it matters who will be part of this plan, who will be part of the event, who will be the beneficial benefit, who benefits from it, who will be the one that takes control of it, who take, there's a lot of questions, and making sure that's been, you know, clear, and making sure people who's involved know those information. Not exactly everybody, but if there's a volunteers, then that's another story. But still, if you are someone that, like, let's say you're interning or something like that, and your job is making sure you're doing ABC to X or whatever, and if you know that's the job is being given, then that's what you got to do. It could be hard, it takes time, but it takes, that's part of the experience, and I done through it. Not like great, but it was successful still. But as far as what I've experienced putting events together with other people, it's not easy. But there's benefits from doing it. When it happens successfully, no harms, nothing, no incidents, then that's what it should be, right? Make that means that everyone in my team are keeping eye on each other or around other people. So making sure that we are staying in contact. Which there was some funny story about that part, which I'm kind of off track with this. So I said we're supposed to have a walkie-talkie, and we all did. The thing is, for some reason, I didn't even have a walkie-talkie. That was on me, because one of my team members are trying to reaching out to me through the walkie-talkie, and I forgot to bring it with me, because I was the one be in the first thing in the morning to be in the event, the convention, to making sure that, hey, I'm making sure these are being placed correctly, and I'm making double check with my manager that this is happening and this is that. So this is like a couple hours before the event happens, and even the facility is not even open. I'm just making sure that everything is, being placed correctly. And some things could be like, but I have some people to kind of back me up. So anyway, so yeah, plans are important, and it should not be taken lightly, because it involves a lot of people. It involves a tons of people, that it could cause a lot of incident, kind of accident, and that could be our we will be the liability. We will be liable for that case. So we need to prevent that. We need to avoid from happening, right? So in order to prevent those things is to have a solid plan. What are the possibilities that we should try to think of, and what are the solutions? So we need to kind of come up with those, protocols. Then that's what should happen, or what we should be prepared for. So in the end, it worked out, right? Like you never know what's gonna happen. That's why you need to kind of think it through, and you need to talk with the people who's gonna, be part of the event. So it takes a lot of time, but at the same time, the communication is important, and that's where I learned in a hard way that because I had to lead some most parts of it. And, I'm not like a loud person. I can't really put out, talking to like almost 100 people in one time, right? Like that's why I have my manager or someone up higher up, or at least under above me, at least helping me out with that part. But at least I try my best to kind of like leading through some of that process. So you know, overall it worked out, right? And in this case, so I'm bringing it back here. I feel like there is no security protocol or any other related to that protocol. It was just having a bunch of stuff on the back, and there is no really a oversight on how it should look, to making sure that yeah, people are in the line. It looks like you got those that strap. I don't know what to call it. It's for the line. And okay, but this is not airport. Airport could probably definitely be better at security, but the point is, I think the way the TwitchCon has been doing done with this specifically, there was no um, yeah, like I said, it's just going back to like the how it should be handled for, because she's pretty open. Like I don't really need to show you this or click on it, right? Like it's very obvious how open she is. It's very vulnerable around her, right? Anyone could just walk behind her, even though there's a curtain probably, and there might be some, back end security that might not involve the front, but I think her manager is there, if I remember correctly, at least to watch out for, right? So, or she's watching out, in general. So, still, that's not enough, because we're talking a influencer or content creator been watched by thousands of people, 10,000 people or more. And imagine you have a lot of those people, just among those people, a couple hundreds coming to see you. And there could be some confusion can happen, a lot of chaos when this thing happens. And I think it's not very good when it comes to any security that should be involved, but didn't happen. And I think that's very concerning for a lot of people that might want to consider attending TwitchCon in the future. This could be very problematic. And I think Twitch does not care. Don't get me wrong, I've been streaming on Twitch for quite some time. It's not that they care, right? If I can stream it on there, fine. Who cares? To be honest, I don't care. If they don't care, I don't care. We're fine. The problem with that is that when they are putting up their name and putting up a convention under their name, there should be accountability of how they put up, who are or is accountable for putting up a convention. Who is the person or a group came up with the idea of let's put a TwitchCon or a convention for a Twitch content creators? Have they thought of the securities? Have they thought of how they would look like? Where are the locations and what do they look like? How the layout should look like, and how many creators will be there for meet and greet or any other things, like are they gonna sell products, or those kind of information should matter. And whoever going to host this kind of convention like TwitchCon, that person or group should have the information be written down and know what to expect. It's what matters comes down to is the expectation by the host or even by the vendors. or whoever is involved around that project. Because when it comes to what the what you're going to do as a content creator or streamer, right? Which I keep saying content creator, which you are, but when you are a streamer and you're planning to be at the convention to greet with the fans, or maybe selling products or hosting activities, then you have to communicate to the host or whoever you're trying to reach out for the convention and say, hey, I'm doing meet and greet with my fans, possibly fans, and say, hey, I want to do this. What's gonna look like? What am I expecting to do? That's where the host or someone that will lead this convention, in terms of like the layout, convention itself, should be planned out, being communicated with the streamers. So that way they have the expectation. They even know the other streamers, right? So at least they're not too surprised about, you know, what it looks like. Because the streamers will have to know. They have to know where to go. They have to know where they're going to do their thing. Even vendors, right? So besides that point, um, that's where security comes in, right? Like you would have to know where you have to know where to go, but also know how much security needs for, let's say, a specific streamer, or just any streamer really, to just that's where I think I believe that. So there's a possibility is that whether they don't have the budget for it, that's why it looks very empty for security wise. There's not much of a, you know, yeah, there's just really nothing at all. They just have a bunch of people there. Is in the place surrounding her. It's very vulnerable. It's very open. That is not good. If there's another streamer next to her, that might be a good way to do it. But it's completely just her. Maybe one security, which you can see at the very right side, not the one with the glasses, but you can kind of see at the corner there. But that's about it. And maybe the manager at the back. But it's just terrible with the layout. And I bet in the middle of the convention itself, I don't know what it looks like. I don't know if it's only one floor. If it's one floor, okay. But if it's 2 stories, ooh, that's really a problem. But let's say it's 1 story. I should have done more research on this. If let's say it's 1 story and you know what the layout of inside a building looks like maybe is there a restroom for it, is there a place for the break, is there a place for those little things. Those little things matters because people walk around, maybe rest, and people standing there for a long time to meet their the favorite streamer, all that. So people need to think about this. They need to think this through, making sure that people are satisfied coming over to the convention. Apparently, they didn't think this through. I don't think they did. Or even if they have it through, they probably don't have the budget for it. They're just like, we don't have the money. We're not doing this shit. I don't know. That's just a possibility. Or they just really don't consider about protecting or providing a security for the. It doesn't have to be specifically like only specific streamers, but it can be a overall at the convention. Put a good amount of security guards or someone that can keep an eye around while they have a long line of people, because you got to make sure that there's no suspicious actions being seen. All right, like sure, there's some people like the other visitors might seen it, but that's not good enough because they're busy to making to be in the line or talking to other people. So there's some things like that they got to think about, and apparently they probably haven't, right? As far as I saw in the video and what people have been talking about, I think it's just not good enough. So if the middle of the building, inside a building, if the interior and at the center, if it's completely empty or there's not much at all, there should be some things that needs to be put out there, right? If so, let's assume this, okay? Let's say it's a whole box. Whoops. Let's say it's a whole square, complete, good, perfect square. If it's that's the interior, and if it's the little outside of the box, maybe including like a restrooms, maybe the outside like an exit, right? And just have to have you imagine, or maybe you know what, just to make it better, I'll just show you. I think this will help you out what I'm trying to tell you because this makes sense. So let's say, how do I do this? Yeah, that's fine. Let's say this is your convention, right? A perfect, well, it's not perfect square, but it's pretty close, right? So this is your, shit. So let's say this is your convention, okay? This is your convention. Now, let's say you as a host or who's trying to manage or oversee what's it gonna look like, how many vendors slash streamers will be participating for this convention, right? That means they'll have to figure out how many is gonna be there, right? So let's say there's gonna be a couple, right? Maybe they need some space for a background, or maybe put some tables if they're gonna bring their own. I don't know. I'm pretty sure Twitch doesn't have the money for it. They don't have the budget, or they don't want to give that. You know, they don't want to provide that kind of stuff. But anyway, so let's say they have some streamers maybe around here, you know, something like that. As far as my understanding, they probably don't have a lot. And as far as I saw some people on the video, it seems like there's a lot of space. There's like almost not really dead, but it's like not a lot of people there, or streamers or content creators. Why did I just do that? But anyway, so yeah. So yeah, let's say there's some content creators around here, right? So let's say there's some of these. I'm just putting this out real quick. And this is nothing. This is, I bet, let's say it takes maybe a minute or two to walk from here to here. And then, yeah, there's another one here, maybe. I don't know. There could be someone in the middle, right? That's possible. Or maybe some right here. Or maybe right here. So now, let's, oh, wait, sorry, I just realized. So, okay. So let's say you have this number of vendors or streamers who's doing stuff, right? And you have what? I suppose they have security, but I feel like they don't. That's the problem. So even if you put a security, but it's only one person of security, right? Right there, maybe right there, maybe right there, maybe right there, right there, maybe. And some of them probably only hire, you know, by that streamer, right? Not Twitch. And or maybe someone under Twitch hires somebody, right? Or volunteer, which is not considered security. So I say that's not even good enough, to be honest with you. And I bet they have stuff going on in the middle that has nothing that helps the convention. They probably has a big signs. Doesn't really do nothing. It doesn't do anything. Right? That's probably nothing. So that is concerning, to be honest with you, because that's doesn't do anything to help mitigate possible incidents and or prevention, you know. So if they have space at the back, right? If they have any space on the back, that could probably help the security to for security protocol to actually go for streamers to be on the back. So these kind of areas, you know, should be so I'm trying to like if this back over here has an open, like a walking area, or at least like goes around, but specifically only for streamers. That's how this should be. And there should be a tight security for those, right? To making sure that securities also know how to ID, well, I'm pretty sure they do, but how to ID the right streamers and making sure they are legit, right? That should be part of their job. And I right? Because some people can just claim that, oh yeah, I'm this, I do this, Twitch, I'm a Twitch streamer for this or whatever. Anyone can claim that. That is only if the security guard outside or inside before getting to this area, you know, have no idea, right? So even security or any security or part of the security that help with the information about who will be part of the convention, like in this case Emiru or whoever, right? So in this case there should be a protocol once the information is given. Now how to set this up, there should be out here, this is not outside, this is just the backside of the like the black curtain, right? Maybe someone that can just be there to take a break or whatever. But there should be a walking area here hidden to making sure that streamers are do feel safe and not have to worry about being seen by the fans or anyone can be suspicious. So that's where I think should come in, right? And I'm pretty sure they have, because I saw some of the videos, like they have curtains and stuff, but I feel like it's not being taken seriously about how to take control of the situation for prevention, right? How to mitigate any possible incidents. And I think it hasn't done well for it. There has been a lot of like talks about some vendors or some stuff that TwitchCon given, and it's just not going well. So I don't know. I don't know whole information about it, but as far as what I've seen, what I saw in several videos, it's all that allegedly. So this is just what's been given. But as far as my understanding is that because there's no really security protocol, it's just how it led to be, because I mean, I can kind of watch some of the videos. You can look it up yourself too. There were some open areas, and you could probably have some like a volunteers or someone with the vests on. The green vest is kind of like let the people in the lanes or the crossing between lanes. Um, it seems pretty vulnerable here. It's not been taken seriously by the group of securities or anyone that being part of it, and I think it's not being um it's just not following those protocols, I think. Or even if they have those protocols, I think it's not being implemented seriously or been either informed enough about it or never informed at all. And I think that is concerning if you are streamer or if you're vendor that been heard being out there, right? If you're popular enough to kind of like, create with other people, that's something that is concerning for you guys. And I think it's just terrible. I think it's just something that TwitchCon either or Twitch itself has to make create a budget for it, that they can actually hire people for the securities, not securities. So you need to have multiple people in a group to make sure that they can actually do it, and have a spread throughout the TwitchCon, the convention, inside and outside, to making sure that there will be no disruption or no any possible harm on the streamers or anybody who is going to do meet and greet, and or it just vendors too. So something like that, there should be some to set up, laid out, right? And and that's where the people whoever going to host this, who is hosting this convention or lead of this layout of the building, they should know this. They should know how to handle this. But I feel like they never taken care of this. It's because I think it's because it's a streamer, which is not being taken seriously for their reasons. And I think it's still not, but it's still a part of the contractual thing, right? Like I said, I have a 50-50 feeling about, you know, streaming as your a career. Like I said, I stream a lot. Not whole a lot, but I stream, but not as much as other people, but I still stream time to time. But you know, you know what I mean? It's just not enough for me to like, oh, I'm just going to TwitchCon and be a vendor or something like that. It's not even close to be. But the point is it's not it. I think it's just not been taken seriously for these kind of stuff. Like conventions are very important for just not just streamers themselves, but also people who is going to be involved around it, around inside the conventions. And a good example is that Anime Expo oversold tickets to to people, and they did not have a limit, or they only doing a conventions for I think 4 or 5 days. No, it was 4 days. It was like from Thursday all the way to Sunday, and there are some options where you want to go one day, or you go 2 days, or you want to go all 4 days, kind of thing, right? Okay. And I feel like there should be a limit to that, or to give some kind of limitations on it. Otherwise, because they oversold tickets, it's because the convention buildings, they know how it looks like, and it's just not enough people because a lot of vendors have their own tables, or the where they placed on, that takes the spots, the spaces, and you have walking spaces, which probably not enough because there's a lot of people walking, but also stopping at the vendors looking at stuff, and that's also for applies to the downstairs, where they have like a lot of artists who sell their merchandises, or yeah, products. So that one is really good example, because there are times that it's so hard to go through it because people just standing there, and then there's other people across standing, so it's kind of hard for me to go between, and people just stop at the random timing, not even try to be on like stepping on the side, they're just literally just standing in the middle. So when you stop it suddenly, it's really hard for other people to go, and it's kind of hard to manage that. So I feel like either oversold tickets, or you have too many vendors. And there's nothing wrong to keep, how to have the vendors, because that will help with the building owner. So like I said, there should be a management of like, well, I think it's more of how many tickets that should be sold, right? But and I think that should not imply that they're taking away the freedom of going to certain days. It's not like that at all. It's more of implication of giving enough space for other people. So we have the safety concerns, and we have the security concerns as well. So all these things has to be considered when you are hosting and um, overseeing these conventions. And it is never easy, and it's just overwhelming at some point. At the time I was, leading the event, eh, on the day off, I was walking around most of the time. I've been greeting the vendors, kind of like say, "Hey, how you doing?" kind of thing. And then there are times I talk to some of the vendors, kind of like, "Hey, are you the first time here?" or blah blah blah. Just kind of like, let them know about stuff, and just kind of keep checking and stuff. And then I talk to other people who's, volunteers and stuff, just kind of like, hey, I'm just checking around, I'm just gonna take a break. And then, because we have volunteers and they have their own, procedures, but also we're making sure that we know that what's going on. So it's not surprising. And like when we gotta do this, what we're gonna do that, blah blah blah. So it's not crazy surprising at all. So I learned in a hard way about how to run, or at least overseeing the project like this. It's just never easy, but even documenting it also matters, because you got to make sure you document things like, okay, this is your plan, this is what you're doing, right? Like, let's say, okay, this is what I'm doing, and then how much that we're willing to spend on for this kind of project. Project on the food, a project for the non-food stuff. Are we providing certain, you know product, or like tables and chair? Are we providing that? Those kind of things matters. So to be honest, it's so you can look all these information yourself, but here's my thoughts overall. As far as I seen everything about TwitchCon, like everything what I've seen from social media, what people are talking about allegedly, about how their experience was, I think Twitch, whoever representing this TwitchCon convention itself, should not lead the TwitchCon, or TwitchCon shouldn't even exist in the first place. Or I feel like my opinion about this is that, or as far as solution wise, that might help, is that the top streamers, or any streamers that are willing for to make it better, streamers should take the lead to host and make the convention themselves, and they can take the cut, you know, if that's what they're willing to do. But I feel like that takes a lot of work for sure, and that takes a lot for their, you know, time, because they have to be ready for their stuff, right? But at the same time, if they know what to expect and how it look like, or maybe they can hire somebody or groups of people who are highly trusted, making sure that these things are being taken care of properly and being communicated properly back and forth. Doesn't matter how much it takes, but it matters. Like, let's say, if the streamers have a time, a day to look at the convention, like the building before the day of the convention, they should have the privilege to look around to see like where they're going to be at. They probably do, but probably not enough to what to expect, what it looks like. How's the layout look like? Am I expecting to be at the back more often, or how's it look like? What, all this kind of stuff. Like I said, I don't know how they handle things with that one. I don't know how they do things with it. I have no clue, but I feel like there should be some protocols being handled and implemented properly for security for the streamers. And I think there should be ways. Obviously, there are ways to do it, but they just don't do it at all. But yeah, I think they should be done correctly for it. And if streamers want to hire their own security, actually that's fine too. If you know that this person is, or they are, or if it's a multiple people, if they're fully trusted, and if you know this people, then sure. But I think that's where it comes in. Like, does it like, so there's two ways to look at this. Either you have a whole group of securities all together in this convention, and being either hired by Twitch itself, which probably not, or by the streamers, right? Or maybe a third party, whatever, and be in one place together to kind of like what to expect, which probably not. Which they don't really. I don't think securities or security talk to each other about or from streamer to streamer, talk about their security stuff, right? Which I don't think that's likely, but if it's just only within Twitch, right, then probably, which I don't think it's, possible. But, or if someone who has the security or knows the security protocol or have the lead for security, it just in general in the building, like the building where it's gonna take place, where the TwitchCon takes place, can meet other securities either by streamers, right, or by their own third party. There should be a meeting for it. There should be meeting how this will be handled, right? Because that's not good when there is no communications happening when it comes to preventing possible harms on not just the people around it, like fans, but also streamers. You know, and even if they are knowledgeable about security, like protect, like a bodyguard kind of thing, there should be some kind of training. There or yeah, train the protocols, how to handle those things. And it doesn't take too long for it. It's not hard. So that's the thing that I think that should be happen for TwitchCon. And if streamers, a group of streamers, like including Emiru and other people, streamers, they should be a plan on how to make the TwitchCon better. I mean, might as well take over TwitchCon itself, because it seems like Twitch itself is not doing good enough. I mean, I've already seen this. The tweeting here is it's just not it's just not convincing as after I watch videos from Emiru herself and other people witnessed the whole thing. It's just not convincing. Um, I think, in my opinion, Twitch should never involve with this. They just want to get their names out. Okay, congrats. But when it comes to these kind of stuff, they should not involve themselves for it at all. Like, you should not put your face there. Just have the Twitch streamers do their way to do it, and they can figure that out themselves. I think they understand better about how to protect themselves for making things more smooth and successful, and share among streamers how to handle these kind of situations. And I think it could be dangerous. It could happen in seconds. Like, if you watch the video, it happens in seconds, and people do not know until the last second, and they just realized it, and there's just nothing but reaction. There's no action to happen. Yeah, one security guard pushed him away, but that's about it. There's no action being taken hours after her manager pushed to do it, which is kind of weird that after that happened. So, like I said, going back, I think Twitch is not taking this seriously. They just want to put their name out there and just put the con right there, and that's it. That's just me, though. As far as put yourself in accountable for your act, for your just like, yeah, you didn't do anything. That's the problem. You didn't do anything, right? You just put that post right there, and that's it. That's nothing. That's literally nothing. So that's just me. If I were you, I will let the streamers handle those. If I have a budget, which I will, right? If I were them, right, to say, okay, you guys want securities? All right, I'll hire at least 10. If you want, I'll do 50, you know? And I'll talk to the people in the who owns the building. I'll talk to them and see what's up. See, something like that should happen. So they should have a talk. in person of like, okay, we want to do this, and then we want to make sure we have this, and then this will happen. And if the Twitch itself wants to delegate for who's going to like handle how many streamers there and what to expect on how many people gonna be in the building, all that kind of stuff, you can delegate. Delegations are fine. I think it's just what matters is how these people will handle those stuff, and are they the ones that are they the right ones? Are they the are they trained? They understand the situation? Are they do they know? Are they familiar with the protocols? And I feel like that's how it should be. Like I said, if I were to Twitch, if I were to be in there, in that situation, if I know that the TwitchCon will happen, like let's say let's say 8 months, 7 months, I'm gonna start the plan right away. Yeah, 7, 8 months, or even 10 months, 10 months before it happens. I'm gonna plan it. I'm gonna plan it. I'm gonna start brainstorming. I'm gonna list the name of stuff, what we're going to do, what we're gonna need, who are the streamers going to be attending for meet and greet, or if they want to sell the product, that's fine. Or if you want to do stuff for their own, as their for their tables, let me know, that kind of stuff. Or I delegate someone that who knows how to do those things, right? We need to start set this up out to outline them, so at least day by day as it gets closer, you're getting all these checklists, right? You're making sure these are done correctly, these are done properly, so that way you're not going to worry about anything could happen. So that is very important when you're hosting or just running a convention or event in general, because it matters when it comes to security, right? Safety. So I think it's best when you just someone who can start right away. Like, let's say TwitchCon already ended, I think. I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100% sure, but let's say they ended it. Maybe a month later, or maybe a week later, they should have a conversation about a or a reflection, basically have a reflection among the team, like what happened, what the people said about the today's or this year's convention, and what are some of the stuff that happened. Like, is there any incident happened that I don't know about? Is there some information that I missed, or was there any like a chaos event happen, something like that? Or is there any complaint that we should know about? So even though they probably do, this is probably not the way to do it. And that's the problem about when you're so worried about hurting your names, your names getting hurt, or any means. It's like, what are you protecting? That's my question. What are you doing? What is your purpose? So, like, I get it. Like, you want to protect yourself, protect the company, to protect whatever, blah blah blah. But this is not the way to do it. I think it's just not, you know, it's just not. I don't know what's up, but it's just not. But like I said, I don't want to get too deep into that part. But what's important is that they should have a reflection, and then later on, really early, plan out what they can do early for the next convention, if that's what's gonna happen, right? Now, what they gonna do? What, you think people still gotta be excited to go to convention? Probably not. Not as much. I guess give or take. I guess depends on who you ask. But I think, in my opinion, it's just not. I'll be very reluctant about going to, or even I'm a streamer, and enough for me to do a like a meet and greet, or be as a vendor, I would probably be very reluctant about it because it's just not worth it if I were to know that will probably happen and there's nothing around me to protect myself or protect or or being protected because I'm busy to greet and interacting with my fans or with the people around. So I don't want to deal with that myself. Like I don't want to like it's not like I have a sixth sense and suddenly I can just cut karate chop anyone could hurt me. Like there's just no way. So I know I'm just like ranting this for like 50 minutes, but I just want to get that out there because I've seen this for a while, ever since the incident happened, and it's not really directly relatable, but when it comes to convention or events, something like this hosted and this incident happened, it is not right. It is not appropriate to respond like this and trying to say that you actually did something which you didn't. And it just tells you that they're not taking this seriously. Like I don't know who they talked to about security. I don't know who they talked about, safety issues. I don't know who they talked about, did you talk to your streamers? Did you talk to, people who will be involved in this convention? Probably not. You're just pointing fingers and say, hey, you do this, you do that, right? So that's just me right there. But hopefully you kind of get the idea. And I'm sorry, it's not really the usual stream for the past couple of days. I don't really plan on doing this, but when I saw a lot of videos and I'm like, you know what, that's it. I just want to get that out there and talk about it. I just I just thought I should. But hopefully this will be kind of like a little bit of wake up of like, okay, this is a way to understand that convention, hosting a convention or leading the convention is never easy. And it's something that you have to take into consideration when you actually trying to run this kind of stuff. It's just it 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 does relate to it does involve life and death and it's never easy. So I hope that you get that point. But hopefully, you watch yourself if you are vendor or if you are a streamer and watching this. Yeah, please just keep your eyes open. Just be careful. And if you have budget for hiring security, or if you talk to a like a third party or maybe a convention who can provide you one, if that's great. You just have to find the source for it, and hopefully that person or a group can give you that resource and actually give you the right security, or maybe just have like maybe a camera for yourself. Some streamers, actually content creators, some does do that, actually put a camera or like a hidden camera next to them, so at least they don't have to worry about, like, they have the evidence, they have the footage, right? So anything happens, it's right there. But yeah, you can also rely on people around you. That's also great. But it's just better to be prepared, and yeah, just better to do that than sorry. So um, yeah, that's all I want to rant today. So I will be back to stream the continues the Silent Hill F, the new game plus, which I will be doing that. Hopefully, I can finish that and see the new ending or the second ending on that stream. So, but anyway, guys, you guys have a good night, and hopefully, this will be a great takeaway for you guys for future reference. So, all right,